Hello, and welcome to apparently Batman, but not Batman, because we gotta do my driver video of the year. I try to do this every year. Last year I did it where I gave away every single driver's opinion, and this year I'm going to give you my current status as far as drivers that I have opinions on are concerned. Now, as you can see, this is a PowerPoint presentation that has a list of every active driver except for drivers in vehicles that have multiple drivers. Except for the 32, because Jeffrey Earnhardt is going to be racing full-time mostly, except for Bob Labonte at the restricted plate tracks. So I have him in here already for next year. But this is for the end of 2015. So that's why Jeff Gordon is still listed in the hated section. So, this is the neutral section. This is the drivers that I really have no opinion towards or against. Usually leaning towards good most of the time. Occasionally, Allmendinger will piss me off, or God damn it. Or a front row driver will piss me off, But in general, these guys are neutral, and I will pull for them usually, or I will not care about their existence. Good drivers, on the other hand, are my go-to guys. I have plenty, as you can see, so that's no worries there. But I also have hated drivers, and there are never enough of them, are there? So let's start on a positive note. Let us begin this video with my top 10 favorite drivers in the Sprint Cup Series. Boom, 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 I think. Can I count? No, I cannot count. Now, can I count? Yes, now I can count. Nope, hold on. I still can't count. Yep, nope, it's Curtis. Curtis is 10, okay. Yes, these are my 10 favorite drivers in the Sprint Cup Series. Number 10 is Curtis Busch, otherwise known as Curtis. He went from last year being, okay. He went from a neutral. He probably would have been around, like the Keselowski or Jamie McMurray zone last year. But this year he shot up because of stupid bullshit that came at the hands of a power-hungry bitch, who we shall not name the proper name of. In any case, Curtis had a magnificent season. He finished first in 2 races, although one of them was rained out, so it's really only a half win. So he won a race and a half this year. He probably would have advanced to the Final Four if it had not been for useless rain, which is why I think, racetracks should start investing in canopies. But that's just my opinion. Can you imagine a giant-ass canopy over like a Daytona, encompassing the entire track? That'd be crazy. But that's not the point of this video. 10th is Kurt Busch. He used to be up in the top 5, but then I found a whole bunch of other drivers over the course of the season whom I care more about. And you will be hearing about all of them. Ryan Newman placing number 9. Last year, at the end of the season, I would have put him probably where Jeffrey is, or upper neutral like Moffitt or Larson levels. But Newman is up to 9th, and this is mostly because of his campaign to almost win the Sprint Cup last year. Now, as far as this season's concerned, I am thinking highly of Newman because he has not won a race in a very long time. I wholly anticipated that he was going to win a race this year, and I really, really, really would like that to happen, but it probably won't. So Newman, he replaced Jeff Burton, someone who I was in favor of. until this year, you know, when started pulling up a whole bunch of bullshit. But you know what? Martinsville changes people. Okay? Martinsville changes everyone. So, Ryan Newman. Number 9. Number 8 is the 51 that used to be containing Justin Allgaier. Until some stupid bullshit happened this year. And Allgaier has always been favorable in my eyes. There has not been a moment where he wasn't. Even back in the 2011-2010 era of racing, when I would watch the Nationwide series, and I would see Justin Allgaier either almost winning or winning or finishing second to Kyle Busch. Like everyone else in the Xfinity series. But, Allgaier has never been on the hated list. And now that his life is basically falling apart at the seams, he got moved up into the top 10. He got a top 10 this season, which is impressive given the fact that he finished 4 whole races ahead of his teammate in points. So yeah, there's that. So Allgaier is clearly the better driver of the two, and good enough to get good finishes. So, he is indeed a good driver. He just needs to be in a Hendrick equipment of sorts. Like Casey Mears. But, we will not go there. Now we're at number 7, which is the 83 of a Matt DiBenedetto. And, I didn't know this guy existed before the season started. He was not anywhere on this list before the season started. And now he rests at the 7th place because he impressed me driving for a team like BK Racing, placing consistently well and much improved over his teammates, even that of JJ Yaley many times. The end of the season was pretty rough, but the summertime was the summer of DiBenedetto, finishing in like the top 20 and all that. So, Matt D is going to be the guy that I'm watching for a long time, hopefully. Unless BK Racing folds. And then everything goes to shit. But you know. Number 6 goes to the number 16 of the Biff. And I placed Biffle here because he is the only driver remaining at Roush Racing that I genuinely like. And that's a shame. It's a shame to see what Roush Racing has become, but as far as the Biff himself is concerned, he was doing everything in his power to win a race this season there at the end. He should have won Talladega. He could have won New Hampshire. Well, no, he could not have won New Hampshire in all honesty. But he could have won Talladega. Yeah. You know, if Biffle had won Talladega, we wouldn't have had a fucking debacle among all debacles that we did see at Talladega. So, you know. Really wish that was the case, because Talladega was a lot of fucking shit. But anyway, yeah, the Biff. He sits at number 6, and hopefully he wins next year. The number 7 of Alex Bowman is the 5th driver on the good list. And this is falling over from last season. He was my top rookie. Kyle Larson was 2nd, even though Larson was almost winning races. Yeah. Yeah. If someone out there was to pull a Stewart and make a Stewart-Haas out of TBR, oh my goodness, this could just be exactly what Alex Bowman needs. Yeah. He's going to do some races for Junior Motorsports in the Nationwide Series next year. If he can win one of those, I will be more than satisfied with Bowman's 2016 season. But for now, he rests at number 5, behind the 20 of Matt Kenseth, who sits at number 4, shooting sky high after what happened at Martinsville. He used to be around, this motherfucking bullshit, this range of drivers, and right before the whole thing in Martinsville happened, he was sitting between neutral and good, but now he's shot up to the number 4 spot after that beautiful, beautiful thing that happened at Martinsville. That was the best. That was the best. I approve 100%. Which is why he's now my 4th favorite driver. So yeah. And that's really all the reasons I have. Moving on to Tony Stewart, P3 at the moment. Final season. Tony was in the top 5, going back and forth last season. Because last season I had 5 different drivers vying for my love and affection. That would be Martin Truex Jr., Tony Stewart, Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, and then there was one other. But there were like 5 big ones. I'm watching a football game right now. But yeah, Truex ultimately won that battle. But yeah, Tony, he's ranked number 3, and I approve heartily approve Tony Stewart's life. And I want him to win next season, because this season was utter dog shit, and hopefully that changes. Now, for the top 2 drivers, Casey Mears, second favorite driver in the Sprint Cup Series. All I will say is that he should be at Hendrick. And that is my opinion on that. And I have an entirely separate video for Martin Truex Jr., my number 1 favorite driver in all of the Sprint Cup Series. And I would probably say all of NASCAR as a whole, but I don't know. John Hunter Nemechek's getting up there too. Yeah. So if you want to hear my full opinions on Martin Truex Jr., just refer to the Why Martin Truex Jr. is my favorite driver video. And now, it's everyone's favorite time. It's time for the 10 most hated drivers. And before I made this video, I was actually afraid. I didn't think I actually had 10 drivers that I did not like. And that's how it was before. About before the chase started, it was that way. Because Harvick and Bowyer were not on this list until after this season happened. So last year it was not the case. But I do have 10 of my most hated drivers now. So why don't we begin with this list? Number 10 belongs to the loser in the 3. At least that's what I've called him since the Daytona 500 last year. Because while Austin and Larson performed like dog shit in the 2014 Daytona 500, both drivers wrecked twice, okay? They were both involved in cautions twice. Just putting that out there. So, yeah, the loser in the 3, he'll never amount to anything. Kyle Larson, everyone said that this was going to be his breakout year, and he did terribly, and everyone was saying, oh my goodness, what happened to Kyle Larson? Why isn't he doing good in races? And yet Larson still finished ahead of the 3 in point standings. And on top of that, Kyle Larson also missed an entire race at Martinsville this year. So Larson did better in 35 races than Austin did in 36. Yeah, Everyone's real impressed that you can win in the Xfinity Series, you know, now that you're no longer in it full time and you're, you know, in the Sprint Cup Series in the first place, and, you know, it should not be in the Xfinity Series at all to begin with, but it's a good thing that you can win somewhere. Loser in 3. As well as trucks, apparently. Because, you know, they really need to put him in fucking trucks, you know? Number 9. Dana Crash Pat Wreck. Everyone was calling Danica Dana Crash, while no one was calling her Pat Wreck. Well, I just took the two. I took the liberty of combining both. Dana Crash, Pat Wreck. I'm proud of my work, honestly, but yeah. Refer to my Danica Patrick is a joke video for my full opinion on Danica Patrick. Kevin Harvick is placed 8th in my most hated drivers list, and this was not the case at the start of the season. Before, he was around this zone, you know, neutral, leaning to hated. But now he's moved up to my 8th most hated driver, and I have very legitimate reasons for this. Reason 1, Talladega. I don't need any more reasons. Oh, I also have a couple other reasons. Chicagoland. He was a little bitch at Chicagoland. Yeah, that's the extent of that. And Talladega speaks for itself. You know, you can wreck one guy and get suspended for 2 races. Or you can wreck half the field at Talladega and almost win the championship. That's just what I've got to say as far as that's concerned. So number 7 is Clint Bowyer. Someone that I did not give a single shit about, and you will know this if you look at my I Hate Dale Earnhardt Jr. video. You will hear me say that I hate Dale Earnhardt Jr. more than I hate Clint Bowyer, which is still the case. But back then, I did not care at all about Bowyer. I did not even think about Bowyer. Now, whenever I think of Bowyer, I think of contempt and hatred towards someone who is undeserving of a vehicle. I look at him with the same contempt that I look on with Dale Jr. Clint Bowyer is awarded with a vehicle at Stewart-Haas Racing that's won championships. Bowyer has not strung a good season together since 2012. And that was really the only year that happened as well. Since then, he's won 0 races. He made this year's chase, and you know, points are reset. Well, actually, no, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. I'm sorry. Wait, doesn't it matter? It might matter. Yeah, it does matter. I'm sorry. I'm completely stupid. So Bowyer made this year's chase, and points were reset. But Bowyer still managed to finish 16th in the chase standings, behind Matt Kenseth, who was suspended 2 races during the chase. 2 full races, and Bowyer still finished behind him. How do you manage to do that? How can you suck at everything so badly? He got last place at Martinsville in the chase. He got last place at Homestead. Bowyer is trash. Bowyer will never win again. And you can hear the rest of my opinions on Clint Bowyer in Bowyer replacing Allgaier What the Fuck, which is a NASCAR anger video on this channel. Now we're reaching absolute contempt Like, if I didn't make it clear that I have a disdain for Clint Bowyer, I mean, how can I have 6 drivers that I hate more than that? Well, here are the rest. Number 6, J.J. Yeley. Yeah. J.J. Yeley is my 6th most hated driver in all of NASCAR. How is this possible, you may ask? Well, 2006, Atlanta? I want to say it was Atlanta. But yeah, 2006 Chase race. It's been it's been almost 10 years, okay? I don't remember exactly what happened. I didn't even watch the race live, in all honesty, but yeah. J.J. Yeley did not know how to drive. He's gotten better, I will give him that. But he has not eclipsed the disdain that I have built over 10 long, angry years. So yeah, there's that. Moving on. Now we're in the top 5 most hated drivers. Who are they? Well, you've probably been staring at them the whole time anyway, so I may as well just keep talking. Number 5 is Dale Earnhardt Jr. I have an entire video on this subject. So, go check out I Hate Dale Earnhardt Jr., which is a video on this channel for my opinion on Dale Earnhardt Jr. Moving on. Number 4 is the 24 of Jeff Gordon, who is finally fucking retiring. My disdain for Jeff Gordon reaches from the very beginning of me ever even watching NASCAR in the first place. And in all honesty, I was warming up to him. Until 2006. 2006 was not a good year for Kamikaze Games. Just putting that out there. Matt Kenseth, who was going to be my favorite driver after Mark Martin retired, which he was supposed to do after 2005, but whatever. So while racing in 2006, Martin was there, but I was still liking Kenseth for the sake of having someone to like next season. Guess who decides to wreck Matt Kenseth to win at Chicagoland? That's right, it's Jeff Gordon. And I was warming up to the guy. I was like, why do I hate Jeff Gordon again? Can someone explain this shit to me? Why do I hate Jeff Gordon? And then I saw that race and I was like, oh, right, that's why I hate Jeff Gordon. And so, Kamikaze Games remained this way for 10 more years, So, yep. Well, we'll move on from there. I actually said this in a different video, which is like my Jeff Gordon experience or something like that. It's a driving video. You'll probably find it in the driving videos playlist, but whatever. Number 3 is Kyle Busch. And no, this is not because he won the championship this year. I have always disliked Kyle Busch, ever since he came in to the Sprint Cup Series. Mostly it was a guilt by association because he raced for Hendrick. And I hated everyone at Hendrick. Though, These feelings were reinforced after he beat Greg Biffle at Phoenix. I don't remember what year. I think it was 2005, 2006. It was one of those years. But then he started acting like a bitch all the time. But you know, now, the only reason that I hate Kyle Busch anymore is because he has to race in the Xfinity Series all the fucking time. I mean, for God's sake, you're a goddamn Sprint Cup champion. You don't need to fucking race in the Xfinity Series. This goes double. Yeah, this goes double you. This goes double for you, Brad Keselowski. Just putting that out there, okay? Because, you know, I honestly don't hate Kyle Busch. I just hate that he has to be in the Xfinity Series all the time. There's fucking no reason to be in the Xfinity Series. So go away, Kyle Busch. Number 2 is Jimmie Johnson. My number 2 most hated driver in all of NASCAR today is Jimmie Johnson. If you were to say back in 2009 that there would be a driver that I hate more than Jimmie Johnson at one point, I would not have believed it. Because Jimmie Johnson has been my most hated driver since probably 2005. Yeah, somewhere around there. And it only got worse after he won championship after championship after championship after championship after race after race after race after race after race. And it's really many, many years of anger that have led me to have my second most hated driver be Jimmie Johnson. And I still think that the Texas chase race this year in 2015, the ending of that race was still great. I still believe that Jimmie Johnson ran a fantastic race there, and I enjoyed watching him win that race. That doesn't mean that I have to like Jimmie Johnson, because I don't. And I hate to end the video on this note, but the worst thing to ever happen to NASCAR, Joey Logano, I have an entire video on. Look at my 2015 NASCAR video, Worst Daytona 500 Ever. And you will see pure, unfiltered rage at the hands of Kamikaze Games. So, this has been my top 10 most favorite and most hated drivers in NASCAR. And I'm going to rattle off a couple of names in other series. John Hunter Nemechek for the trucks. Corbin Forster for the trucks. Jennifer Jo Cobb for the trucks. Spencer Gallagher for the trucks. I'd say that's about everyone in the trucks that I really give a shit about. Johnny Sauter in the trucks. Yeah, that's everyone that I like in the trucks. Xfinity Series would be, let's see here, Elliott Sadler, Regan Smith, really wish that I had a list of drivers in front of me for this. Oh, would you look at that? Perfect. Oh, Ryan Blaney. I never mentioned Ryan Blaney in the Sprint Cup Series. He'll probably move into my top 10 list at some point. Oh yeah, Jeffrey Earnhardt's in there too. I think that's everyone. Stanton Barrett He is a pretty cool guy. Oh, John West Townley. Forgot about Darrell Wallace Jr. Yeah, there we go. Good thing I looked at the list, yeah. John West Townley and Darrell Wallace Jr. Yep. Yep, there we go. All right. Yep, that's everyone. All right. Good. There's my list. That's the extent of it. And, yeah, so... Thanks for watching, I guess. It was a good old time here on Kamikaze Games. Anyway, yeah. So there's my list of drivers, and this is my full list. From good to neutral. Fucking Christ. All the way down to my most hated. And I'm going to try to add, you know, Xfinity and trucks to this spot here, since I don't really have many people in there. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, this has been Kamikaze Games. And I'll see you, hopefully, sometime soon. Bye.